Megan now tells ET, trust, fidelity, and respect are non-negotiable for me in a relationship.
So let's talk about Klay Thompson. Let's talk about Megan Thee Stallion. And if you have just crawled from up under a rock, it appears they've had an acrimonious split with some allegations of infidelity or cheating on Klay's behalf. And let me attempt to paint this picture, and then I'm gonna be brief on this video so you can have a great day and go on with your day. And you have two people, and these two individuals are high status people. One is a multi-world championship basketball player at the pinnacle or at the apex of his career. And he's kind of winding down a little bit, but he's still a pretty good player. Then you have a credited or an acclaimed recording artist who has a legion of fans. And they both decided to combine and join forces, and they decided they would become an item just under a year ago. Now I want to talk about why I believe that this relationship was doomed from the start, and that anytime you get two high profile people, two different people that have two different ideologies, that they're never going to last simply because they're misaligned, right? And so if you want to check out my other video that I just uploaded a couple of days ago regarding why I believe couples and relationships and marriages fail due to misalignment, you can click on that link after watching this video. So welcome to the Purple Pill, and we're gonna go ahead and get started, and I'm gonna do 5 stops, and I'm gonna tell you why I believe the relationship, again, was doomed from the start on this episode of the Purple Pill. So number 1, cheating is wrong, or it depends on who you are, right? I believe if cheating wrong, cheating is wrong, cheating is a decision. But I believe that cheating is a symptom of an overall disease. Now, let me explain this so that everybody can get clarification, especially to the ladies, right? As we are men, we have 2 categories we're gonna put you in as a woman, that if we're gonna date you. We have you as a woman that's more of a hangout type of person. That means there's nothing serious about it. We enjoy your company. We really enjoy the physical touch, the intimacy aspect of it. We like to have fun. You're loose, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're in that group, right? Then on the other hand, you have a group where, hey, I really like her. I'm more intentional about her. I'm going to do more. I'm going to show up. I'm going to move with intention regarding this type of woman. These women are usually the women that get, at least they get engaged. And what Klay did, Klay already saw from the start that he wasn't gonna be serious with Meg. You gotta understand that people move in circles or move in packs. And so guys have the ability to get intel on women just like women have the ability to get the intel on guys. And so let's be honest, right? Meg more than likely has a long track record of basically being ran through. And that's gonna offend some of y'all, but it's the truth. And you gotta understand, listen to her music, listen to it. She promotes being promiscuous. She promotes basically being a city girl. And so when that's ingrained in you, you behave like that, right? The Bible tells us from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speak. And that's abundant in her heart. So she basically is one of those women where if a man meets her and he understands the type of woman she is, and she's basically a 99% woman or 99%er, then you're not gonna move with intention. You're not gonna commit to that. And so there's some truth to what I'm saying. I've seen some things and whatnot, not literally seeing things, right? But just, you can tell based off the behavior of the individual. And so that's why Klay put her in the group I talked about earlier, in the non-committal group, basically, in the non-committal bucket, versus someone that he would move with intention and actually put a ring on and actually go through with getting married, right? Which is a whole completely different discussion. So again, the first is cheating is a symptom and not is a symptom of the disease. And Klay just decided that, hey, he just needed to kill time. He needed to go along with the flavor of the month, and just, it was a temporary, or more I like to call a seasonal type of relationship. Or really, it wasn't even a relationship. Technically, it was more of a situationship. Because what he did is he gave her mixed messages. Meg didn't use her emotional intelligence. She didn't use her discernment. I'm certain that she saw stuff early on in a relationship or situationship that should have told her, hey, let's put ice on it. Let me move, let me pivot away from that, and then let me move on from that. So that's number 1. That's cheating is a symptom of the disease. And I gave you the behaviors of some of the characteristics of why I believe Klay is moving the way that he was moving and why Meg was moving the way that she was moving. So we're gonna move on to number 2, and then we're gonna move all the way down the list, and we're gonna be done with the video. All right, number 2. It is the public versus the private depiction of their relationship. I'm gonna tell you the first mistake that they made. First mistake they made was, number 1, that you already famous, so people are looking at your every move. They decided to go public with their relationship. There are athletes that I have seen that have been quiet about their personal life, and it has proven to pay dividends because there's something unique about being very private, because you keep the media, you keep the press, you keep people out your business. Again, first mistake, they decided to go public. You see, we live in the information age, or the social media age, where everything is chronicalized, everything is shot, everything is videographed, and everything, every intricate move, it really is overexposure. And so, because Meg is a woman, right? Meg still was seeking validation from her legion of fans, and what she was hoping, right? You should never live by the hope creed, is that Klay was gonna settle down. You see, Meg is approaching, when women start approaching their 30s, they start pondering things, the biological clock starts ticking, they start thinking about normalcy in their life. They start thinking about consistency. And this is for anybody, if you go on social media and put your business out there, if you just got married, right? And sometimes it's not necessarily attention seeking, you're just sharing that you're happy, you're sharing that you met somebody, you're sharing a part of your life, right? And there's nothing wrong with giving people just the peak of your life, but when everything is out there, right? You see all the videos. She cooked dinner with Michael Thompson. He used to play for the Lakers a long time ago. That's his dad, Klay's dad. You saw all these different things, and all of it was just validation. It's really attention seeking. There's no substance behind it. It's all style. It's just, again, it's pageantry. That's what women are about, pageantry. And so they made that mistake by going public with the relationship, because everybody's going to be on pins and needles, and everybody's going to be intently looking and seeing and waiting and saying, hey, I knew that was going to happen. I could see it. I knew it was going to happen, right? And so now you have one of these videos you're watching, of course. But going public versus private, keeping things private or semi-public would have been the way to go. So if this did happen, right, if Klay in fact cheated and they decided to part ways, nobody would have known much of anything. And then maybe 2 years from now, she might have revealed it and said, hey, the reason we're not together is because there was some infidelity, or some cheating on his part, and he couldn't be monogamous, and he couldn't make his mind up, or he sent me mixed signals. And then people will hold on to it a little bit, but it won't be as big of a story as it is now. And so you saw in the teaser of the video, you saw that Entertainment Tonight is a nationally syndicated show. See, ET is broadcasting, then it's pretty big news, but because she made it, or they made it private. So that's number 2. There's number 3 is going to be the schedules, right? Meg is, again, an acclaimed recording artist. She has tours, speaking engagements, appearances. To her credit, she is a working woman. She's getting the bag. She, like it or not, you like her music, like what she's preaching or evangelizing, right? She is working in her element, in her craft, and she's busy. She's super busy. Klay, on the other hand, also is ultra busy as well during the basketball season. It's 82 games in the regular season of the NBA. Not to mention the All-Star weekend. Not to mention if the team makes the playoffs, and then how deep and far the team goes in the playoffs. You're talking about at least potentially 6 months, adding the preseason to it. You're talking about a 6-month league, just about 5 or 6 month league of the fiercest competition that there is, and happening all around the United States. So your schedules are going to conflict. You're not going to be able to see each other. And then you know what happened? Klay's still a young man. Klay is a man. Men have needs and desires. Men have wants. Not to mention that he's rich. Those are attributes that other women are going to see, and they're going to throw themselves at it. They're not going to care if Klay were married. They're not going to care about that. So the temptation is always going to be there, right? And so, ladies, you should be weird, but understand, until you are married, if you get married, then you have to take everything with a grain of salt. You got to take everything with a grain of salt, because you don't know what the other person is going to do when they're not in your presence. And really, do they have integrity? Integrity is doing the right thing when no one's watching. On the other hand, Meg also has a circle of people as well, and she has a pool of potentials as well. I alluded to earlier in the video, Meg is not walking around here being a nun. She's not. She is a young woman. She's in the prime of her youth, the prime of her life, and she's making money. What you think is going to happen? Again, she don't have a ring on it, so there's no guarantee. Plus, we don't know the full dynamic and scope, right? We don't know the blast radius of their relationship because none of us were there. So a lot of this stuff is, we're technically speculating, but I think most of us are spot on when we're assessing this particular of their relationship. Now we're gonna move on to the next. We're gonna move on to number 4. Hang in there, we're almost done with this list on this edition of the Purple Pill. All right, number 4. This is the question, right? I want y'all to engage in the comments after the video. What were they building, right? Were they really building something tangible? I'm gonna say, here's my question. Here's the answer. The answer is no. Because as I alluded to in some of the earlier points or stops of the videos, 5 stops in the video, 5 I'm talking on, is that, again, whenever your smartphone is on and you're recording everything, you're not building anything. Only thing you're building image. You're not building integrity. You're not building a foundation of trust, of commitment. Exclusivity has some element to it, right? Think of Grant and Tamia, right? Grant and Tamia Hill, right? Tamia, great music. I listen to some of her music. Grant guy, even post injury, still a great basketball player. But they're the polar opposite of Meg and Klay. They're the polar opposite, right? But they not doing it to build an image. They have been married since 1999. If y'all doing the math, that's 26 years. That's a quarter of a century they have been married. I have not heard anything regarding scandal, anything that's salacious. Not that I'm trying to find anything out, but to me, it looks like they have a solid marriage, a great marriage, and they love one another. And what you have to have, and I think that's the end goal. If you're a celebrity couple, then you should want something like what they have in terms of an semblance of it. Not trying to covet what they have, but just look at how they move. That's intention. That's a beautiful thing. That shows you that man, Grant, is rich. Grant owned a part of the Hawks, the Atlanta Hawks. Tamaya in her own right has amassed a fortune as well, but you don't see them behaving a certain type of way. You don't see them, they're social media, but they're out living their life. They are always very elegant. They're always very classy. So the fourth one, what were they building? They were more so for the image part. I don't think Klay cared. Klay was just flexing, right? Klay was like, hey, I Meg, right? I pulled Meg. Well, who haven't pulled Meg, but he pulled Meg. And she probably been a tough cookie for some other dudes to crack, and they never cracked it, right? Because she just wasn't feeling them like that, but she liked Klay and was Klay. And they were just going through the motions and just plastering everything on social media. And you can't do that. You can't do that, or you shouldn't do it. It's not advised. So that's the fourth one. Now, we're going to end the list and we're going to be done with the video. All right, number 5. It's attraction versus connection. Again, you can go back and look at my other video when I talked about misaligned couples. Why they're misaligned. Physical attraction gets you in the door. Physical attraction. They were both physically attracted to one another. You clearly could see that. You can look at Meg. Meg was looking like, hey, this dude, the one like this, can do whatever he want to do to me, and I'm gonna be submissive. Like, you gotta realize, women usually have hard to deal with women. They are combative. They're difficult to deal with. They're not gonna cook for you. They're not gonna do all that stuff. You're not gonna get that version of them. But for whatever reason, Klay manipulated his way in, or whatever it is, or his charm, right? Pause. But his charm, Meg enchanted, and Meg, y'all watching a city girl fully submit to a man. When a woman cooks for you, when she cooks for you, that means she has some deep affection for you. And Meg appeared to have a genuine connection with Klay, and Klay didn't want that. Right? Again, I thought mixed messages. It was mixed messages. So they were physically attracted, but no real connection, because if there was, then I wouldn't be sitting here doing this video, nor would all the other content creators and gossip people and other people. They're doing reaction videos. I'm not necessarily reacting. I'm trying to do paint a picture or take a deeper dive in the dynamics of their relationship or the demise of the relationship and where it went wrong. And so physical attraction, folks, will get you in the door. That'll get you the person. And more than likely, y'all are going to become entangled, if you know what I mean. But then after that, once that's over, because you can't do that 24/7. You can't be intimate 24/7. There has to be some other substance to your relationship. You want to go travel? Can you sit around each other? Can you? It's not even about tolerating each other, but can you do that type of stuff? And right now, I think that Klay just was playing games, and he a single man, or and Meg should take that with a grain of salt. So who I think was wrong? I think that they should have discussed what were the true intentions of the relationship. And I think going public with it also damaged the relationship from the start, because usually when you go public and you're seeking attention from people and adoration from people, usually you're in the wrong space, and that's clearly what happened. So if he cheats, and so karma has a way of making its way back, but let's from this relationship, or the demise of the relationship, when we are in our relationship, let's not look and try to be exactly like couples, right? Because you don't know exactly what's going to happen. You just don't know what's going to happen personally, right? But if we learn to work on ourselves and learn to find somebody that you have a true connection with, then things will be better. So don't forget, that's the end of the video. Don't forget about, I'm working on the ebooks. Got one for men, one for women. I got a bundle. The individuals are $9.99 a piece. The bundle's $14.99. Don't forget to subscribe.